Hey everybody, I'm here today to talk to you about a GoPro Hero 8 camera that keeps turning off. I'll be going over how to fix it in this easy tutorial. Let's get right into the video. I'll be going over 5 specific things that you should think about, consider, and try to do in order to fix your GoPro Hero 8 that is continually turning off. This is a rare problem, but most of the time it's pretty easy to fix. So let's go ahead and start troubleshooting. The first thing that I'm going to ask you is, are you turning it on via like the quick capture or the quick shot mode? Okay, so I'm not sure of the specific terminology, but essentially you can turn the camera on by pushing the record button. So if I push the record button right here, as you can see, it turns the camera on. We would be recording, and then when I stop the recording, okay, when I stop the recording, it automatically powers off. So if you are starting your recordings by just using the quick capture method like that, and it's turning off, that's why you need to turn the camera on. So I need to physically turn the camera on like that, and then it should stay on. If that's the reason why it's turning off by itself, then, that should allow it to stay on, which is good. So hopefully that's the cause, because if that's the cause, and that's why I chose to say that one first, because it's like the fastest one. If that's the cause, then it's easy to fix. It's just a matter of doing things a little bit differently. The second thing is the battery in properly. So you want to go ahead and slide this tab out over here, okay, until you see that red indicator. Open the battery door up and look if the battery's in properly. Okay, I'll tell you why. The battery needs to sit flush like this, okay? You can take the battery out. You might have put it in the wrong way, because it'll go down there, but it won't sit flush. So you might be wondering why the GoPro's not turning off or not turning on at all. That's the reason why. Okay, and if you have it in the right way, is it sitting flush? Because maybe your battery is just making just the tiniest bit of connection where it's turning on, but then it's automatically turning off because the connection isn't strong enough to hold the charge. Okay, so that being said, make sure your battery's in properly. Make sure it's seated nicely. You saw the difference there, right? It looked like it was in over there. It looked like it was in like that, but in reality, it needs to be completely flush, okay? Just like that. So what I would recommend, take your battery out, make sure it's in the right orientation, put it back in, and make sure it's really seated nice and tightly in there, okay? The third thing that you should look at is the battery door shut properly. Now, if your battery's in like this, I believe the camera will still work even if the battery door is not shut. Yes, so that's because the battery is still making contact, obviously, but your battery door not being shut properly might affect the contact of the battery. It might mean that your battery isn't making complete contact with where it needs to be making contact with. So with that being said, make sure your battery door is shut properly, okay? What you want to do is make sure your tab is pulled out all the way so you see the red. Make sure your hinge is on nice and tightly in place, which is actually over here, because this can actually just come out. So your hinge might not be in properly. So make sure your hinge is nicely in place, just like that, okay? You can even remove it and put it back in place carefully. Sometimes, like the first couple times I did it, I struggled with it. So if you're gonna remove it, just make sure you really look at how it works so that you can get it in properly. So red tab out, hinges in properly, close the battery door firmly, hold it shut, and then close that tab. And then always just make sure it's not gonna come open like that, okay? So make sure your battery door is shut properly. That might be the cause, okay? The fourth thing to look at is your power button. Is your power button tactile? Do you feel it sort of clicking a bit, or is it stuck? People use GoPros in all sorts of situations, all sorts of all sorts of things get on the GoPro. Maybe you are filming something where you're like eating pancakes, and you're getting an up close view of the pancakes and the syrup, and you got syrup, like maple syrup on here, right? So I'm Canadian, so like I love my syrup, and I'm not being stereotypical. I actually can eat like a cup of syrup, like 250 milliliters of syrup with a serving of pancakes. So I'm not even exaggerating, okay? So, I probably might even use my GoPro for that one day. We'll see. Maybe you guys are going to see a video of me eating a big stack of pancakes with a massive amount of syrup. If you want to see that, comment below. I'll make it happen, okay? Anyways, if your button is sticky or if it's not clicking properly, that's going to be the problem. And you want to make sure you clean the button if it's not clicking properly, because your camera might be, your button might be pressing itself basically and turning the camera off. It just might be being stuck in the down position, in the press down position, which can fool around with the camera's power options, okay? The fifth thing is you want to make sure that it's actually charged. That's because if your camera is low on charge, maybe it might turn on, but it can't hold the power on, so it's going to turn off by itself, right? So you might have enough of a charge to turn the camera on, but then it turns off by itself. You know, just kind of consider that. And if it's not fully charged, if it's not charged up enough, then charge it up. It doesn't need to be at 100%, but you want to make sure you have at least a decent amount of battery before you rule this option out. That's it. If you like this video, please be sure to give it a thumbs up. Let me know what you think down below as a comment. And of course, be sure to subscribe for more great videos just like this one. And that's all I have for you today. Thanks for watching.